Hey, hello again, everybody. Dan John here from danjohnuniversity.com. And I've been promising some people that I would update a point in my goals class I think is really important. And of course, it's this not new, this idea of two numbers. And I get this information from kind of my heroes of personal development. Of course, the first is Earl Nightingale. And if you know me, I've recommended to you to read Lead the Field. It's available on YouTube now. It's a wonderful thing. My notes are extensive. I've probably got 3, 4, 5 colors on each one because I listen to it and rewrite notes. The other day I was driving around and I heard something. I was like, it was all new and all new and clear to me, which is so wonderful. And this was the point. Earl said, "You become what you think about." And now I noticed that in my life a few times. I wanted to be an American football player, and I read every book. I cut out every football picture in the newspaper, and I did that for like years. I had these little. It's kind of sad now. I actually would then paste them into little notebooks, because I was a little different. I was a little different. When I started becoming a discus thrower, I went to every library I could and I found everything I could. And I think I became a discus thrower because that's what I thought about. So when it comes to success in life, I'm a big believer you become what you think about. I was one of the earliest professors online. Arlen told me, he was the head of Columbia at the time, that I might have been the fifth online professor in history. So I've been around a while. He might be number one or two. And one of my knocks about online education, now I think it's very valuable, but one of the things you don't have that mentor standing in the room with you wearing the lab coat or the Indiana Jones hat or the whatever, the smoking jacket, to give you this vision of where you can end up with the love and the passion for the field. I like to be taught by people who became what they thought about. I like to be taught by people who have bought in. I like to be coached by people who have, kind of bled a little bit for the sport. And the other person I get my information, of course, is from Derek Sivers. He had that company, CD Baby, which you'll find referenced in a lot of the books that are, how to make money online and stuff. But the reason I like Derek so much, besides the fact that he takes my advice for weight training, is that he has this interesting idea in his book that to run a company, you need to have two numbers. I think his numbers were how much he would sell per CD and the setup cost. And that was it. And he never changed those numbers. So what I've been doing recently with my clients and the people I work with is I've moved to something called the two numbers goal chart. Uh, I discuss this a lot. I discuss this in a lot of places, but there's value in having two numbers. Now, I've tried this before, and I'll get back to that in just a minute, but one of the things I'm trying to do right now as I'm speaking is I'm trying to get down to the 96 kilo class. And I'm doing doing the 10,000 swing challenge. I'm doing the Rusty Moore's fat loss boost. I'm also training for an Olympic lifting meet, so I have to do snatches and clean and jerks. And I'm sore all the time. But every time every morning I sit down, I have this little pad and paper that you'll see in the 10,000 swing videos, and I put a little line down the middle, and on the left side, I record all my swings. On the left side, I also record what I eat that day, which is pretty simple right now. It's veggies and some chicken and non-caloric beverages. And on the right side, I think about my financial goal and how to make my business bigger, and not at anyone's cost. I'm hoping to serve so many people that my business expands. And on that side, I write down a whole bunch of things. Years ago, I took Boaz and Greta, and their last name was Rosh Wagner. And I really liked this course. I took it from Nightingale Conant, the leaders in audio learning, and it was called Debt Free Millionaire. And I liked the course. There's one thing just be careful here. I worry now that I look at it is that there was two rabbits on one side of the piece of paper. Being debt free is wonderful, and I've been debt free a number of times in my life, and really except for I refinanced my house because you're crazy in this environment to not refinance your house. I couldn't rent what I pay for it, but I'm debt free. And as we were joking not long ago, my neighbor and I, we always wanted to be millionaires, and now, of course, living in Murray, Utah, you know, just sell your house and you become an instant millionaire. And it's funny to say that, but the point on the book is important. To have your assets at a certain number, and in their case, they talked about $1 million. They picked the $1 million for good reason. I don't want to be too vulgar, but everybody knows the phrase. Let's just say we'll call it up yours numbers, but it's two other words. If you have $1 million in assets that are available to you, and you don't like a job you're doing, or you like a position you're doing, or you don't like a committee you're on, you can just say, up yours, I'm out of here. So you don't have that ownership that you might feel from having other people control your day. And of course, debt free is one of the most freeing things I've ever done in my life, where at the at the end of every month, or after you pay off all your bills, whatever you have left is yours. And I'm in that situation now where whatever modest income I bring in, the bulk of it remains with me, so that I can do things like help my grandchildren's educations and buy equipment for the gym and, dress up all fancy for you people. Well, one of the things, so there's a couple of things I want you to think about when you set goals. First, I really think there's value in having two-sided goals. I like fitness and finance because for me, I've been an athlete my whole life. I've been lifting weights since 1965. My first trophy since 1967. I've been around this a long time. So, and of course, I'm a track and field athlete and a weightlifter, so numbers make sense to me. My number on my left column is 211 or 96 kilos. So every day when I'm writing down how many swings I did, the workout I did, the food I took, if I send it all in the areas of beverages or snacks or, oh, I tell you, there was these cupcakes that Thomas got from his work that were just phenomenal. So, but that goes on the left column because that was keeping me farther and farther away from my 211 goal. And on the other side is the goal to expand my business. Sometimes I think people get their goals a little too tight together. If I was to have a goal of throwing the discus 200 feet and throwing the shot 60 feet, which is certainly possible, but the goals might be a little too tight. I'm not sure how to explain that any better, but it does seem to help to have a clear goal that I'm going in for this. Now you might say, well, as an Olympic lifter, yeah, you could focus on the clean and jerk or the total for a while or the snatch or, whatever. But that helps clarify things. A single focus on one side. And on the other side, you would have this other goal. I like finances. And then once you pick this number, now with this number, 96 kilos, 211, now is the important thing is, and I run through 5 lenses on the fitness goals, the body weight goal. The first one is health. Will I be healthier at 211? Well, last year at this time I weighed 251, so that's 40 pounds lighter. And even though I probably did lose some lean body mass, I think I'm going to be healthier at 211 than 251. I mean, it just fits from what I've learned and all the blood tests I've done for my whole life. When it comes to an area like longevity, I think my old boss told me one thing. You see old golfers, you see fat golfers, but you never see old fat golfers. And I thought, well, that's an interesting thing. And that's when he started on the Atkins diet because he wanted to lean out, and it worked. I think a lighter body weight, within reason, will help me with my longevity. And I do want to see Leo play in high school, maybe college or whatever. I do want to see Danny and Joe go on to amazing academic success, and I want to see them play sports and do pageants and all the rest of that stuff. I'd like to be around for the next chapter of my life too. In the area of fitness, 211 will probably make me much better at moving things around the house, getting things done. I've already noticed that once I started on this, that I pick up the phone and I wanted new locks on my doors. I picked up the phone, I don't know, and they were over, and now I have new locks on all my exterior doors in the house, all of them. It's amazing, and I think part of it is because as my body weight goes down, I think I get fitter in the areas of just general life, which is much less wearing on my brain pan. And then I think about performance. Okay, I'll probably lift better at the 96s than the 102 class, the 211 versus 224 class. And I probably got a better chance of doing well internationally at 96 than 102. Okay. And then the other area, the lens I looked at, is I'll probably look better. And it's not that important. I'm sure not very many of you roll out of bed and hope I'll look better. This is as good as it's going to get. But I do think, it'll be nice. It is nice to have people talk to me and go, I can't believe you're in your 60s. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm technically closer to 70 now than 60. And that makes you feel good. And I want to feel good. I want to look good. I want to move good until the day I die. So when we talk about goals and goal setting, here at Dan John University, we think more not so much about the goal setting, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with it. But from there, we talk more about the goal achievement. And I think to achieve a goal, that the goal itself has to be full. It has to be ripe. It has to be juicy. It has to be thick. It has to be something that when you think about it, all these different lights in your head pop open because you're so interested in getting yourself that goal. To me, goal achievement is what we're talking about most of the time, not goal setting. Everybody sets goals. That's the easiest thing in the world. Achieving them is much more difficult. And I think the key to achieving them is that it becomes so rich in your head that you start to scribble away little ideas how to get to your goal. Just like I do every single morning. I scribble ideas about how maybe to get to 211 easier or how to expand my business every single morning because I find both of these ideas just fascinating to me. And don't forget what Earl Nightingale taught us. You become what you think about. And if you're really interested in achieving one or two goals, you're going to become what you think about. You got to think about those goals. And then you have to have systems and rituals in place to make them work. I had a great conversation with Pat Flynn. Pat's a big believer in starting the day with 30 grams of protein. And we buy a protein supplement that has 30 grams. Well, I would argue this. If you're going to start your day with 30 grams of protein every night before you go to bed, next to your nightstand, you put that protein, you crack it open or do whatever you have to do to prepare it, And so when you wake up and you turn off the alarm clock, your first movement in the day is that 30 grams of protein. Next to my bed, I keep my meditation sleep mask. First thing I do every day, very often before the alarm goes off now, which is interesting, I put my mask on and I do my meditation because everything is preset and ready to go. I start my coffee because I always make coffee before I go to bed. Here's what I'm doing now to make it even easier. When I finish that pot of coffee in the morning, I make the coffee for the next day. These rituals, now I like to start my day. Before I go to bed, traditionally I say I make coffee for the morning and I write out my to-do list. Well, I've already gotten half of that done. And then very often my to-do list has already been written because of the excitement I had talking about my business or my fitness. I like to start my day with a meditation for mental clarity and to deal with some other issues. Build it in. Build in your system as much as you can so that everything is just one one reach away from what you need. And I think that's the secret to goal achievement. You become what you think about, and then start thinking about ways that you can achieve your goals so simply that'll make you laugh when you get there. I'm Dan John from danjohnuniversity.com. I hope this little thing helped you. Don't forget, on the site we have our goals course. It's half price. If you're a member, it's half price. It's all kinds of more depth on this kind of thing, including the famous 5-2 assignment, which will really clarify your goals for you. Thank you, and let's all keep on lifting and learning.